friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I am so excited to come to you today with the books that I hope to read in December. I have quite a stack here. I feel like December is good for two things, or I'm thinking of December as far as two things this year. I have a pile of Christmassy books that I really want to get to, but then I also have a pile of books that have been on my TBRs throughout this year that I just never got to. And this is the time, this is the last month of the year to catch up, to finish some of those goals that I had at the beginning of the year, to see like it's a last push for my reading for the year. So I'm going to talk through quite a few of these books. Well, I'm going to talk through all these books and we'll see where I end up. This is kind of more of a possibility pile than an actual TBR this year because there are just so many books on this stack that I really want to read that I'm hoping to get to in the month of December. So I will start with the Christmassy ones and then we'll get into the past TBRs and stuff like that. We'll talk about that in a second. But I, first of all, have these two books and I feel like I may have read them. So I'm going to take a look at that if I've actually read them. But these are on my, at the beginning of the year, I started a TBR unhaul project. And these were on my TBR in 2018. And I feel like I didn't get to them. But did I read them last Christmas? I may have. Because I feel like they might have been on last Christmas's TBR, last December's TBR as well. We'll see. But I have these Love Finds You. These are short romances. And actually both of these books have two short stories in them. One is At Home for Christmas. And it has a story from Annalisa Doherty and Gwen Ford Falconberry. And then this one is In the City at Christmas. And it has Ruth Logan Hearn and Anna Schmidt. These are going to be Christian fiction romances set during the holiday season. I'm down for that, and I feel like they will be short and quick reads. So even if I did read them before, I may still fly through them because they will be very quick, short reads. And then most recently, I picked up two books from Little Free Libraries that are Christmassy themed, and so you will have seen these in my November haul. But I have Christmas in Silver Springs by Brenda Novick and The Lodge on Holly Road by Sheila Roberts. I know nothing about these, but the dear Sarah over at the Bookish Knitter said that they're both very good, and so adding those to my Christmas pile. And then one more that's not specifically Christmassy, but it is set in the winter, and I do think it happens over the holiday season. I could be wrong about that, but that's a middle grade that I talked about when I did my shelf spotlight on House and Home books, Winter House by Ben Gooderson. I've just heard such good things about this one, and it's a little bit of a mystery, and this boy gets sent to live in this big old hotel with creepy people who own it, and then there's a mystery that takes place in the hotel. So it takes place at least in the wintertime, possibly over Christmas. I'm not sure, but I'm adding that to my December TBR because I always like to have some middle grade on there. So the rest of these books that I'm going to talk about are all ones that were on TBRs earlier this year, and I just never got to them. So like I said, at the beginning of the year, I was doing this TBR unhaul project where I looked back at 2017 and 2018, and any books that I didn't read from those TBRs, I had to either read during that month or unhaul it. Well, I did really good with that until the summertime. And then at that point, we were at the beginning of the pandemic and life just got crazy and also slowed way down. I don't know, it was just a weird time, as you probably know. So I totally forgot about this TBR unhaul project. Turns out I've been doing pretty good with it when we come right down to it. I will probably do a video where I wrap up the whole year, but I will just say some of these books were also on TBRs in past years, and that's why they were on TBRs this year. But I'm just gonna go ahead and start with this January. So I have no books that I didn't read from my January TBR, no books from my February TBR. So far, that's fantastic. And I think those are the only 2 months where I read everything that I had put onto my TBR. So now we're jumping into March, which if you've been around here for any length of time, you know is Middle Grade March. I host Middle Grade March with Katie from Life Between Words. She's now just over on Instagram. And we encourage adults, I almost said grown-ups. We encourage adults to read middle grade books. And I always have a huge TBR and so many middle grade that I want to read. But these two specifically were on my TBR that I mentioned and highlighted and I just didn't get to. So those are Escape from Aleppo by or N.H. Senzai, in which we follow a Syrian refugee, and I'm really excited to read this. Yeah, I feel like this will be emotional and a diverse read because I don't know anything about that part of the world, and that is like kind of recent history, so I'm really excited to read this one. And then also Smale Home by C.L. Williams, which was sent to me in this really fun box with all these little trinkets and things, and I unboxed it on my channel, and then I didn't read it. Shame. So I really am excited about this. I think this has like little people who live right outside this castle in Scotland. There's like a village of little people, and their lifestyle, their lives are in danger, and there's a girl who's gonna somehow save them. So I'm really excited to read that, and I'm so thankful to C.L. Williams for sending it to me. It's a gorgeous like printed hardcover. I love it. I just didn't get to it, so I need to. Then in April, I have books that I've been wanting to read. These are definitely from years ago as well, and I just haven't read them yet still. The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I've heard such praise for this one. It's about the Underground. It's like historical fiction, but also like a twist on it where the Underground Railroad is a literal railroad. And I read The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead and really liked his writing style and stuff. So I feel like I'm going to really enjoy this one as well. And it's an important and good read, and I've heard such praise for it. So I'm hoping that I get to that one. And then Perfect Little World by Kevin Wilson is one of my book of the months that I grabbed in 2017 and still never read. And in this one, we follow this kind of community. There's a psychologist who wants to do this test where she gathers all these people to live together in community. Only they don't live in family units. The community helps raise the kids, and it's like an utopian ideal society. But what really is going to happen? Is it going to be a perfect little world, or is stuff going to go down? I'm really excited for that one. It's a book of the month that I have held on to, but I still have never read it. So in May, that was April. In May, I participated in April from Getting Hugga With It. She did the Quarantine-a-thon, I think she called it. And she had a prompt for each week of the month in May. And I did really good with some of the weeks. And then towards the end of the month, I forgot that I was participating in that. So I have two that I had chosen for that TBR and just never got to. So one of them was about traveling and going somewhere. So I chose The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. I've heard mixed things about this one. It doesn't have the greatest ratings on Goodreads, but in this one, it's about a man. He knows just the right book to give people to help with whatever issues they're facing. It sounds like it's going to be really good, but I know it does have some mixed reviews and some low ratings, so we'll see. And then also Small Great Things. One of the prompts was to read about an essential worker. In this one, we follow a nurse who is a Black woman, and she works on the maternity ward, I believe, or in the nursery or something. And she is the only one there one night, and this baby, who's the baby of a white supremacist family, something happens, and they didn't want any Black staff working on helping their baby, but she's the only nurse there, so she tries to save the baby, but I think the baby dies, and this family comes after her. I believe that's what this is about. I've heard good things about it. I haven't read a Jodi Picoult book in a really long time, so we'll see if I get to that one in December. In June, I participated in Book Buddy-a-thon, which Elena from Elena Reads Books and someone else always hosts. And my buddy was Amanda from The Curly Reader, and she chose a book for me to read that I never got to that month, and she chose Sourdough by Robin Sloan. Robin Sloan is also the author of Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, which I did enjoy. It was a little weird, but I think this is going to be a little weird too. But it's a short little book, and I think it's about this girl who's kind of in she's in the tech industry. She's a software engineer, but she always goes all the time to this bakery and eats the bread of these two guys, brothers maybe, and they decide they're going to leave town, and they leave her the bakery, or they give her their sourdough starter or something. This just felt fun to try to read in the midst of the pandemic. For a while there, it felt like everyone was trying to make bread, especially sourdough. So I was hoping to get to it in June. I just never did, but we'll throw it on my December TBR and see if I can knock that one off this month. Then in July, I chose one of my book of the months that I had picked in June, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This one is on my list of 5-star predictions, so this is kind of high up on the priority as far as all of these books go, because I'm really thinking that this is going to be a 5-star read. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers. So I would like to get to this one for sure and start working on those 5-star books. In this one, we follow two sisters. One of them passes as white and one of them chooses not to. And how does that decision affect their lives and their relationship. So I am really excited to read this. I've heard such high praise for Britt Bennett and for this book in particular. So I am really, really looking forward to reading this one, and I'm going to put it pretty high in my priority. And I have heard it's a pretty quick read. It's not super long, and I'm hoping maybe it can make it onto my favorites list of the year. We shall see. We shall see. These two for August were on my TBR on-haul project. So these also were on TBRs in 2018 or 2017. I don't remember which. And I didn't get to them. And actually one of them I can't even find right now. It's in my house somewhere. I just don't know where. But The Firebird by Susanna Kearsley. This is a sequel, and I have not read any Susanna Kearsley this year, so I feel like this is going to be a priority as well. This is somewhat of a sequel to The Winter Sea. I believe it's like the next generation though, so it's not tied right in with the story of The Winter Sea. I don't know if they can be read independently or not. I don't think I have to go back and read The Winter Sea, even though it has been like 2 years since I read it. But yeah, I love Susanna Kearsley. She always deals with some sort of time travel, time portal, memories. Like there's always some element of history and time related or involved in her stories. So I'm really am excited to read another Susanna Kearsley. Let's hope I can get to this one. And then the one that I can't find is Letters from Home by, I believe, Christina McMorris. Now I could be wrong about that. I will put a picture. I can't remember anything about this one, but I do know that I've read 2 other Christina McMorris books and really liked them both very much. So I'm eager to read more from her as always. And then in September this year, I did Kindred Spirit September. I had a massive TBR, but the one in particular that I was really hoping to get to this year and I didn't is Maud by Melanie Fishbane. And this is a fictionalized story of L.M. Montgomery's life. I feel like in September I had read 2 others that were nonfiction about her life, like more biographical, and I wanted to read more books written by her instead of diving into another one about her, but now a couple months have passed and I'm down to read Maud now. However, I have heard that this one might not be the greatest. It has had some mixed reviews from some people, so I am not sure how I'm going to feel about it, but it was on my TBR and I didn't get to it, so let's see if I can. In October, I have 2 books that were on my TBR in October that I didn't get to. One of them, I had chosen this for the Fall Into Reading challenge that I was doing, and one of the spaces was science fiction, and I was like, I don't have any science fiction, and so I picked this one, but then I realized I read 11/22/63 in November, and that had time travel, so I used that for my science fiction, so I didn't need to read this one, but I do want to keep working on all my book of the month books. I am interested in this, and I do like science fiction when I read it, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm throwing this on there because it was on my TBR and I didn't get to it. And finally, I have one more that I had chosen for, this was on, well, 2 things. I had chosen this for Victober because The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins is a Victorian novel. But also, this is one of the 5 classics I was hoping to read in 2020, and I believe this is the last one that I haven't gotten to yet. So if I could read this one in December and knock out all 5 of those, that would be fantastic. I did start this in October, like very little, but never continued. So I may decide to pick up the audiobook of this one and listen to it instead. I might do that with quite a few of these because I always like to have some audiobooks going at the same time. I am not going to try to hold up all of these, but I will hold up, let me see if I can prioritize here. Let's do, here are some that if I can get to, I would be thrilled. Like all the Christmassy ones, Woman in White would complete that goal. Vanishing Half is on my 5-star predictions, and I just really love Susanna Kearsley. I've got a middle grade in there. I mean, I have more. I would like to read more than this, but let's see. Let's see what I can get to. I guess you're going to have to stay tuned to see. What are some of your books that you're really excited to read in December? I would love to chat with you. Are you someone who likes to read holiday reads? Do you not change your reading at all in December? Oh my word, my hair. I'm trying to learn how to do the curly thing, and this side didn't do it at all. It's so bad. Anyways, let's chat down in the comments below. You guys know I love talking to you down there about these books, about anything else you guys want to talk about. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will definitely be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye.